let me tell you something that's occurring with Hillary Clinton that bugs me. Personally speaking, I don't particularly like Hillary, even though I was a supporter back in 2008 before I was an Obama supporter. But that said, I don't believe a lot. I believe a lot of what's being done to Hillary is misogynistic. I believe a lot of what's been done to her, it's because she's a woman. And one part I am not going to play in the whole thing is beating up on this woman for things that men do all the times. Because unless you're going to beat up Trump for the same kind of things as you're going to beat up Hillary Clinton, in my domain, I will try. Well, I will not allow it in my domain, but I won't be a part of that. I mean, I think we have to be very, very careful of how we are dealing with this woman who wants to become president of the United States. She's ambitious like any other man who is doing it. So we have to make sure when we're criticizing her that we do it from a point of view that, from the point that, like we would do for a man, and not from that sort of a misogynistic way that it's sort of intrinsic within us as men. A lot of times, the way we address things, and it's something that I want to make that effort to get away from, and I think all of us should make that effort to get away from. Okay, we're coming up to about 10 minutes left in the show. Jonathan, you want to add any? John, you want to add anything to that? And anybody online? Oh, great to see you, Joyce. How are you doing? Thank you for watching the show. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, I want to agree with you about Hillary, but I know there's a lot of misogyny out there.
Yes.
But I think that most of the people that are criticizing, I mean, I think they come in two degrees. The people who, I think one camp is like what you and I are in, that really have legitimate, that aren't misogynistic.
Right.
They have legitimate complaints about her policy.
Exactly.
And the way that she will run the country.
Mm-hmm.
And we're definitely concerned about that, and that's why we're such big Bernie supporters, and that's why the people under 45 that really supported Bernie,
right,
full-heartedly, and I really have a lot of great admiration for them, and it seems like they really know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But then there's also a lot of people under 45 that are Bernie and bust they have this kind of Hillary the monster kind of type attitude,
right.
And I don't think I think you should just talk about policy. And if you look at policy, and I don't even like to bring this up, but I mean I do like dealing with facts. And if you look at voting records,
mm-hmm.
Like I have for years, I've been following this, for years and years.
Right.
You look at National Journal, or you look at polls, she was always in the top quarter to the top half of most liberal senators. Now, the Senate was a lot more conservative when she served
mm-hmm.
in the early Austin Bush era, but she was not a conservative senator.
Right.
She was, if anything, more. I mean, I wouldn't even say she was center left. I mean, she was fairly liberal. I mean, she had terrible votes, obviously, on the war,
right?
And her voting and her attitude towards Wall Street is bad. But a lot of Democrats had that attitude.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, yes.
Economic crisis.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely correct about that. And again, we have to remember that she represents New York, so that wasn't a hard thing. That wasn't a hard thing to do. The problem about it, though, is when she campaigns and when she talks about supporting this current platform that we're talking about now, the current Democratic platform, the incrementalism with which she's working is something that we, most of us on the left, most of us on the far left, I think we have to make sure for those of us going to Philadelphia, we have to sort of promote among ourselves that we are going to be fighting for these particular values before the election, during the election, and after the election. One of the things we did with President Obama is after he was voted in, many of us sort of sat back. Many of us also decided not to challenge him in places that he needed to be challenged. And many of us sort of got upset at those, myself included, who challenged him because many of us felt protective towards him. After all, he was the first black president, and we knew that there's a juggernaut, the Republican Party, that was going to be out to get him. Well, I don't know if I really don't know if we served the president well in being as protective to him or for him as we were. I think we should have been a little less protective. We can't do that with whoever becomes a Democratic president.